wait. Keep your TVs dialed. Make time. Check out Blake Griffin making this diving pass that leads to an easy dunk. You impressed with this?
Quick thinking, good pass.
Right? A little court vision.
Oh, man. That's a great pass right there.
Quick thinking.
He got his eyes up.
Yeah, he falling down. Quick thinking.
Good job, man. Good job, Blake.
Right?
Great play.
Good. Missed buckets. Reggie Jackson returning to the Pistons last night as well. 7 points, 2 assists, 15 minutes of play. How different are these guys with Reggie?
I don't know, he's very different. He's exactly what they need right now. A year ago, basically before Blake was here, we talked about Reggie Jackson wasn't the right guy for the job.
Right.
Because he doesn't make other guys better as much as they need.
Right.
Well, now you got Blake Griffin. He's a great passer. So what Reggie brings to the table is like, that's exactly what you need, a scoring guard. And so I think this is huge. It would have been nice if
I was going to say, what they need right now, you might argue that they needed it.
They needed
months ago.
Yes.
They need the quarterback. They got their quarterback back. They need him. He's a threat on offense.
I don't know how big a difference it's going to make.
Not
It's
a wrap.
Check out this 360 by Aaron Gordon. Give me a scale of 1 to 10. Give me your...
A 2.
What? Wait,
what is this?
What is
These are a bunch of people texting, tweeting. What's going on?
We got the
right now, they're hitting up producer Steve right now. Like, hey, man, where's the video?
All right, we'll show that dunk later. Make composure. Marquise Chris. Does he deserve a delay of game here? When the loose ball lands toward the baseline, punches it about 8 feet, 8 rows into the back.
Yeah, I mean, if I was on that team, I would have been doing way more than that, throwing mops, all kind of stuff. If I was that terrible, I would be doing the same thing.
We're not judging things by what you do.
Oh, wait, hold on. Let's see what a Hall of Famer did. Let's see what a Hall of Famer did. Twice. This is my favorite T-Mac video of all time.
Man,
he kicked it twice.
Do you think they showed this last night when he was inducted into the Magic Hall of Fame? Do you think they were like, hey, let's show this video?
He said, oh, y'all brought the ball back?
All right.
Nah.
Here's my favorite Make Miss of the show. The Bolby and Toby show is back. Yeah, I love these two together. Yeah. It's our favorite reality show here at The Jump.
Yeah, okay.
And guess what? They got a guest star for the show this week, DeAndre Jordan.
Right up his alley.
Right? Are you enjoying DeAndre cameoing in?
Yeah, he loves it. That's right up his alley.
What are they? Are they trying to do Kid and Play dance?
I don't know. I couldn't tell if it was Kid and Play, if it's like Perfect Strangers, what they were doing. I don't know. Maybe it's the Elaine Seinfeld.
Isn't it crazy how he makes DeAndre Jordan look like a regular-sized person?
Right, like a regular human.
Come on, man.
Come on. Miss Fundamentals. Aaron Baines lost his shoe. He spent some time putting it back on to the point of where Russell Westbrook almost dunked on him. Take a look.
Come on.
It comes all the way back down the court.
How long are those laces? Oh! Aaron Baines has been in a lot of posters this year. Can we say that?
Got you on the poster right
there. Look at this.
Tying your shoe. Almost got you on the poster.
Right?
Jeez, man. I mean, at least be outside the restricted area?
Well, no, but he had to be in the restricted area because otherwise Russ would have had a clear lane to the back.
You know Russ going 0 to 6, 0 to 100. You better get out of the way.
All right, we got to talk about the end of that Thunder Celtics game because OKC was up with 24 seconds left. They were up by 6. They missed 3 of their final 4 free throw attempts, which set the stage for Marcus Morris's go-ahead 3. Westbrook had a game-winning shot attempt, but he fell short. I mean, did that whole thing teach you more about Boston and their grittiness last night, or about the Thunder and some of the holes they got to fill?
Well, first of all, shout out to KG for calling Marcus Morris, but he also called 7 other names, so whatever. Shout out KG. But
Players only, by the way.
I like it too. I like it too.
I know it's a mixed. People have mixed reaction. I think it's good.
It's cool.
I'm all for it.
Celtics, they are who we thought they are. Like, that's who they are. That didn't show me anything. I know that's who they are.
Right, which is on both sides of the coin, right?
Yeah, but
gritty and they'll like squeak wins out and do the smart.
But I think that's a regular season phenomenon.
Okay.
I think in the playoffs, if you don't have your horses, that grittiness only gets you so far. Yeah. Your stars have to step up in the playoffs.
Or be on the court, Kyrie.
Yeah, but for the Thunder, I actually think it's the opposite. I think this is like a smokescreen because it makes people think, oh, they're not that good. Look at how they're blowing games up. This is a dangerous team.
I agree.
This is a dangerous team, and games like this, you're going to look at it and say, oh, man, they're not that good. Look how they blew that game and blew this game, whatever. But when it comes to a playoff situation, they're good enough to win these games, and they're good enough to win a series, maybe 2, depending on who they see in the second round.
Right.
Me personally, I honestly think that I learned more from the Celtics.
Okay.
To have those young guys and not have their stars out there and they find a way to win the game with being down like that at the end of the game, I think that was impressive because you don't have Kyrie, the guy who's going to have the ball. You know what I'm saying? You don't have Jalen. Jalen's a big part of their offense too. You know, but just on the flip side, OKC, I think this is good for them. They really didn't need more fuel to the fire, but it's good for them. They just making them even more upset.
Yeah.
So when they get to the playoffs and whoever they play, they're gonna unleash it on them. I've been talking about OKC all year. Watch what happened when the playoff time comes.
You know who they remind me of? They remind me of the Knicks from 1999. There was an 8 seed, but they weren't really an 8 seed.
Right.
They were just an 8 seed because they underachieved.
It's like how it all comes back
I'm just
to
saying,
the
the
Knicks
99 Knicks went to the finals.
Right.
You think these guys won the finals?
That's right.
That's what I'm talking about. So if a team that during the regular season, they underachieved, and so when they got to the playoffs, like they're an 8 seed, but they're not really an 8 seed. They're a lot better than that. These guys are the same way, I think.
Here's what I think it relates to the Celtics, though, because I agree with you. The playoffs are different, and some of these, like, winning games we shouldn't have won type of things, that doesn't come into play in the postseason as often. But I do think, especially with a young team, giving them the reflexive belief system, like, oh, we can always come back from that, right? When you do get in a postseason situation, if you are down by 10, if you are down by 6 with 24 seconds left to play, and in your mind you are thinking as a young player, this has happened before, I think that it affects the way that you play. We've got some of the video from their previous wins, right? On February 4th, they overcame a 16-point deficit, I think, to beat the Blazers. November 16th, down from 17 to beat the defending champs. Right, here we go. Here's a video of that. Little young hairline getting in there.
November was a long time. That was when the Celtics were the best team in the league.
Kyrie played great that game.
December 28th. Hey, look at that. The Houston Rockets. They overcame a 26-point deficit. Got James Harden a little frazzled at the end of this game, remember? Right? Brad Stevens.
Best offensive player in the world.
I'm telling you. So I do think, the fact that these stop.
I just gotta see just a little bit.
That's your guy, Nick.
I know, it's my guy, but
right?
Mike got carried away a little.
He didn't say best offensive player in the world. He said best offensive player in the world ever.
Ever, yeah.
World, Craig.
I do think that even though the mechanics of like shorter bench and all the reasons why we say this doesn't matter as much in the postseason, I do think the mentality is going to make a difference. And these little things, these habits, I do also think that it makes a difference in the postseason.
Sure.
It will. Shout out to
the little habits that help you win the games you shouldn't win, and the habits that you just end up losing just too many of those games that you should win, those you will see show up.
I'll agree with you because they're a young team, the confidence building
even
of
with
it.
the Thunder, who I do agree with you, Stack, and I mean they're more dangerous than they might look for their record, but I do think those little habits that make you lose games,
I think that's all from Coach Stevens, though, the way he's coaching, the confidence he's giving.
It's not nothing. Brad Stevens, absolutely. Speaking of that, let's talk about Kyrie Irving. Making Boston fans, their stomachs hurt a little bit. Kyrie is going to seek a second opinion on his sore left knee. League sources told Woj there continues to be no structural damage. There is still a strong belief that rest will be the best remedy as opposed to needing surgery. Steven, where is your stomach queasiness level on how concerned Celtics fans should be about this injury?
Even though it's the same knee that he hurt in the finals, I'm not concerned. You know, Coach Stevens says it's not rest, it's a serious injury. So you have to respect that. But I know a lot of teams are resting their star players as far as this part of the season. So even if it's a real injury, right now resting them is what every other team is doing, so it's not a big deal. He'll be ready to come postseason.
This is what we need to do. We need to ask the Cleveland Cavaliers how worried should the Celtics be about Kyrie's knee, and we need to ask Isaiah Thomas how worried should Kyrie be about the Celtics doctors.
They're different doctors.
I'm just saying. Well, that's why you get a second opinion.
Which, by the way, is an instructive fact. The Celtics have completely switched their training staff.
All the way around.
But
speaking of the Celtics training staff.
Okay.
You know we got to get to this. Paul George said he's been keeping an eye on Gordon Hayward's rehab progress.
Stop it.
Paul George went through, of course, that awful, awful injury back in the summer of 2014. He said the biggest thing was just letting Gordon know what obstacles he was going to have to face with that injury. He knows I've got his back. Should I point out, boys, that Paul George came back and played a little bit that season that everyone said he wouldn't play the entire year.
He also got hurt a lot earlier, though.
He did get hurt during the summer instead of the opening game of the season. But, you know.
It's dope. Anytime you get support from a guy like Paul George in that type of situation, coming back from an injury, that's all positive.
Stack, what was the worst injury you had in your career?
A broken pinky. I'm a gangster.
Up next, let's talk about a guy who's dealing with a more serious injury than a broken pinky. Kawhi Leonard status. There's news on this morning. You're going to want to stay tuned. This is not good for Spurs fans. But, hey, you got Marcus Aldridge. Yay.
Yeah. That's sexy.
I just mean the Kawhi thing is big.
Yes.
Trust me, this Kawhi news is big.
The yay for Marcus Aldridge was.
That was up there with Kawhi's last.
7 ingredients. Wonder what they are.
Corrosion inhibitor.
Solvent fluid.
Demulsifier.
Fuel detergent number 1.
Fuel detergent number 2.
Anti-adhesion compound. And marker molecules.
Get better gas mileage with Synergy. Exxon and Mobil. Energy lives here.
Before these doctors can save them,